Hello and welcome to the penultimate. Don't interrupt me, Josh. How long have we been doing this?
I know, I haven't tried it in a while, but you'd had some good energy. I hope I didn't disrupt it.
Penultimate episode of Season 5B or C of
what have you.
Experience Share Pokemon Podcast. My name is Tandelure.
Chandelure. Good.
AKA Tanner Greenring. And I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Josh Arna.
Masharna. That's good, too.
AKA Joshua Fialstead. Both Elite Four Pokemon.
Indeed.
Those are elite Pokemon. Chandelure and Masharna.
I'll say the Chandelure that I've managed to keep is arguably the best Pokemon on this team.
You like it.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I don't know why you didn't like it when you had it.
I don't know. I couldn't figure out the, like, ghost move stuff. I couldn't figure out the, like, hex and curse junk, you know?
Well, I did wait until I got Shadow Ball, but...
Yeah, it seemed like there was some metagame that wanted me to play with that where you use Will-O-Wisp to burn, and then some other move did extra damage if the opponent was already injured.
I believe that's Hex, yeah.
Yeah.
It
seemed like it wanted me to do that, and I just could never get the hang of that, so I lost interest.
Will-O-Wisp is not reliable enough that I found that strategy good.
Yeah.
But it gets Shadow Ball at level 53, and that's when I evolved it from Lampet.
Okay.
And then I do still have Curse, although I would probably replace it if I could just use a TM willingly.
Yeah, I could never quite get the hang of Curse either. Like, it is used pretty effectively against me by NPCs, but I never quite figured out how to use it. So, not my cup of tea. But you know what, Josh? Thrilled for you.
Thank you.
Thrilled for you. Look at this. You found a new favorite Pokemon. Nice. Chandelure.
It's fun to say, too, I'll say.
It's a lamp.
Chandelure.
Joshua,
were we?
We're done. We took on the Elite Four this week. I should also say that we're a little rusty because... we meant to record this last week, but then my son started barfing everywhere.
We were in
literally
the recording
as we
studio,
sat down to record. Yeah,
seconds away.
I said to you, I have to run upstairs real quick, and then I texted you, I think a half an hour later, and said, I can't record. My son is barfing everywhere. But he's done barfing, and we're done playing this game for the most part, although I think we are going to come back for Chasing Waterfalls next week.
We are.
And I think we're going to drop the Kingslocke for the Chasing Waterfalls episode.
Yeah.
It would just be too complicated.
I had a whole bit planned out when we couldn't record because I had an aviation cocktail, which is this great cocktail that I've become obsessed with, that I was sitting on. And I was going to casually drink it because it's like purple when we were recording. And then I figured you would remark on it and you'd be like, what's that? I'm like, it's an aviation because I'm free from Kingslocke, baby. Let me fly.
Dang, I'm sorry I ruined it.
Well,
what are you drinking now?
I've just got an Ollie Pop. I'm not even boozing right now.
Wow.
It's the sponsor of Bobby's podcast, so I'm not going to give them free. I'm not going to say if it's good or bad unless they want to sponsor Experience Share in addition to Who Weekly.
Yeah, sponsor Experience Share, and then Josh will say whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Give us $100,000, and Josh will come on this podcast and say your drink tastes like shit.
And that's negotiable, I would say. We'll start at 100. Yeah.
Yeah, each.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Joshua, enough fooling around. We had a great time taking on Marlin last week in Humalau City. And it unlocked the rest of the island for us afterwards. As we discussed last week, you and I played ahead a little bit just to get some leveling done, and we kind of had to bore Alex Bug to death as we went through the last little journey that we went on through Route 22 and into the Giant Chasm, start of the Giant Chasm, which is where we're going to pick up now, Josh.
Yeah, right? Wait.
Yeah.
No?
Yes, let's.
Okay.
Let's pick up there, Joshua. So we finish up the battle with Marlin. He and you and Bad Josh have a lengthy conversation where he's this enlightened centrist. He's like, oh, I don't take a stand in these kind of battles. I don't think what Team Plasma is doing is necessarily bad, and I won't be on your side in this. Goodbye. And then he just dives into the ocean.
Which is confusing, and maybe we didn't emphasize this enough, but if they're turning everything to ice, he's not really going to be able to be a beach bum, swimmer, surfer thing. So
he'll certainly have to put on a dang shirt.
Yeah. He will have to put on a fucking shirt, and he's really not going to love that. And we should have steered into that aspect.
Yeah. You know what else I realized about Marlin today as I was making the audiogram for the episode that went out earlier today?
Yeah.
He's got lily white skin. If you look at his feet and his belt area, he's got the lily whitest skin in the world. And then he's just incredibly tan from all his beach bumming.
Oh, you know what? That's really funny. Yeah, he's got a tan line right where right where his
upper crotch, I would call it.
Skin tight pants. Yeah. We always forget. I feel like we referenced this before and now I can't remember what that area is called. The
cum gutters.
That's it. Oh, you remember. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his. If you look closely at Marlin's official art, his cum gutters are lily white, as are his feet. I imagine from wearing flippers.
That's funny. What a detail. They really thought about Marlin's body.
Yeah,
they spent a lot of time thinking about it.
We're gonna make you think there's another black character in this game, but psych. It's just a very tan white guy.
Yeah.
We finish up there, and then we head up to Route 22, and then this is where we encountered Terrakian and Colress, and we got the device from Colress that will wake up the Crustal. And I think it's called, like, the Crustal Wake Up device.
It's the Colress machine.
The Colress machine. They're like, hello, it's me, Colress, leader of the nefarious Team Plasma. I've invented a device that does one thing. It wakes up a Crustal.
And then it breaks.
And then it breaks forever.
Yeah.
So he gives that to you. And then, our only choice then is to go down to the Seaside. It's not called Seaside Cave, is it?
It's Seaside Cave.
Seaside Cave. If you try to go into the giant chasm at this point, you'll get blocked by a couple of Team Plasma grunts.
Yeah, they're still there, which is something I encountered last week. So this was my first time going onto Route 21, which is a short sea route, and then the Seaside Cave.
Before we get into Route 21 or Seaside Cave, we were on Route 22, and we did have to draw a card, didn't we?
I had already done this, so I didn't even include this. That's where last week I said that I had drawn twice on 22.
I redrew.
So I guess I can. I don't.
No. This is my second draw, so I think it's fine.
Oh, see, because I had a 5.
Yeah, right. 5 is guys.
Yeah.
I drew a Knight of Swords. I had pulled Eevee out of my box with the plan of evolving it into whatever I needed for the Elite Four. And I looked through the Elite Four's lineup, and I just determined that what I needed was a Jolteon.
That's the best.
I just needed something quick. I needed something that could take down some flying Pokemon. So I was already training Eevee, and then when I pulled the Knight of Swords, I just made Eevee my champion, because I was just going to be battling with her anyway. So,
all right.
Thank you, Paterson. You are now Sir Paterson, the beautiful electric knight of my team.
That was high risk, high reward. A pure Eevee is kind of tough to raise, but I guess I don't know what level was.
I didn't keep it a pure Eevee for very long.
Well, right. I mean, to get it to be immune.
Yeah. It wasn't that hard, especially when the battles in Seaside Cave and Route 21 are pretty easy, especially if it's an electric type, which it actually wasn't yet.
Right.
And then, we head back down through Humalao City, and we surf southward down Route 21 towards the Seaside Cave. Did you draw on Route 21?
Yeah, this was my first time there at all, so I drew a 2 of Pentacles, which is where I get to choose Amon. If you recall, I've only had one water Pokemon this entire time, which has been Golduck.
Right.
And I'm fairly certain there's a few different card plays that will impact this. At the time, I was like, oh, I have to use Golduck because it's the only way I can surf,
Yeah.
So I had Golduck again, but Golduck has an impish nature, and I still had the Hermit at this point.
A little imp.
Which meant that I had to box Magnezone on an Azinga because Magnezone also is impish nature. So then I'm losing this thing, and then I got to bring in Golduck. But because of that, too, I caught a Mantike.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
So that I could at least have, like, a different one, and I was sort of holding out hope that, like... I think we've explored this before, and I don't remember whether or not Mantine can fly as well as Surf.
Yeah, it seems like it should be able to, right?
But also Mantike won't evolve unless you have a Remoraid in your party, which I'm never going to have at this point.
Right,
so
right,
I just had a little Mantike for a little bit, which also had a hardy nature, and that made me box...
Josh.
I think then I had to box Reuniclus, because that one had Bashful, and hardy is also a neutral, and you can't have more than one neutral. So I got Ananazinga back, but then lose Reuniclus. So that's where I'm at. It's already like, I have the Elite Four coming up. Things are looking very bad.
I'm convinced that Ducklet is the best HM friend in any of these games. It knows Fly, it knows Surf, and it knows Cut, which are the only three
that
HMs
is really good.
you ever actually really need.
In this one in particular, you had Strength a few times, but that was really it.
Yeah.
Cut was like... I think I retaught that a couple of times.
Like, you don't need it to advance the story.
Most of them you could, like, move, you could circumvent it, but there were a surprising, like, I think there was still a shrub, on, like, a recent route. I was like, you're introducing, like, a shrub that needs to be cut down when we're out on, like...
It's just a pain in the ass.
Route 13? Like,
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it feels like that's a relic of a bygone video game age where, like, in the first couple gens, they used the HMs just to stop players up so they didn't get out of the like, zone,
right.
where they're leveled for. But we don't really need to do that anymore, I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring.
Oh, yeah.
And you can go anywhere you want in that fucking game,
Right.
A monster will kill you instantly. But
you can go wherever you want.
I'm not all that threatened by Pokemon, yeah.
I've only gotten to sink a couple of hours into that. I'm very jealous that you've gotten
It's a very
more
frustrating experience.
Yeah, I think I played... This is my first, like, Souls-type game.
Yeah.
And I think I died, like, 4 times within about, like, an hour. Just immediately.
I'm terrible at the Souls games, but I'm determined to get good at Elden Ring because it's just... Everyone loves it. And it is really fun. But, man, I'm so bad at it. I also chose a stupid character.
What did you do?
I chose the Prophet, which is the guy who has like a blindfold over his eyes and like a
oh my god,
a board around his neck. But he shoots fire, and I thought that's cool. I want to shoot fire.
Yeah, I've seen some memes where I thought it implied that the sorcerers are more imbalanced and like better at fighting bosses or whatever, because you could like sit and like lob fireballs or lightning bolts or whatever. But I'm not really much of a sorcerer guy in general, so I did the Confessor because it seemed like it's
the Confessor is I think the new one,
paladin.
And it's supposed to be like the all around, like it's the one where you don't want to have to worry about one thing too much,
Yeah, it seemed interesting. I liked the look more than like whatever the baseline like warrior or whatever it was.
Vanguard.
Yeah, that's it.
We're not here to talk about Elden Rings, but I would love to. I would love to keep talking about it. Yeah. Or Elder Scrolls, which I would also love to keep talking about. At one point, I was convinced that when in college, I was once convinced that I was going to become an Elder Scrolls lore master. I joined the forums and I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a lore master for this game. And one day Bethesda's going to hire me, Bethesda Softworks, and I'm going to go there and I'm going to be their lore master. And that never obviously panned out. But
that's a good aspiration. I follow a few, there's a number of pretty good Twitter accounts that just do Elder Scrolls lore.
Yeah.
I love that. That world of lore is very well developed, I think.
I was also at one point convinced that I was going to be a chairperson on the National Pomegranate Council.
Okay.
I was eating a pomegranate. I was like, man, I love these things. And I looked it up, and I was like, maybe I should join I should be a chairperson. You
just shoot from having a great pomegranate once to I'm going to become the most powerful pomegranate eating person that there can be.
I was in college, man. The whole world is yours at that point. Limitless possibilities. What's stopping me from being on the board of the National Pomegranate Society?
Arguably, still not very much.
Yeah.
That's still a possibility.
I think I could probably do that. I think the average age of that group is probably in the 60s or 70s.
Yeah, I think you do that. You've got time to make those connections in the.
I think I'll probably have to become a pomegranate farmer, though.
Probably, or at least familiar with the techniques.
Yeah, I'm not even very good at eating them. All right, where are we? We're on Route 21.
Oh yeah.
I drew a 4 of cups. 4 is the one where you can't use any stab moves.
Man, that I'm so glad I have avoided. That just sucks.
That one is very, very tough, especially this late in the game.
And you got like dual types.
And I have dual types, yeah. But I think most of my Pokemon knew one fairly decent move that wasn't a stab move. So it slowed me down for sure, but it didn't destroy me. Seaside Cave, we finally made it. Route 21 is just one of those kind of surfy mazes where you have to go around rocks, but eventually you make your way down to the Seaside Cave, which is a lovely little cave. It's just like Seafoam Caves, except it's small.
It's tiny.
And there's a couple of like rangers in here. Yeah. And
I think there were about like 5 or 7 trainers in here.
Yeah, and a couple who will battle you over and over again if you want. But then, and the black belt we talked about last week, Rocky is there with his Roggenrollas. But our main quest here is on the east side of the cave is this dang Crustle who's embedded like a tick.
Oh.
So we pull out the coal rest machine and...
Whoa. We're not going to talk about all the things that happened to me in Seaside Cave.
But first we drew some cards.
Okay.
Do you want to draw a card first? Here, I'll go first this time.
You go first.
I drew the Hierophant, which is the one that doesn't let you use Poke Centers.
Yeah, you can't heal. Well, you can't heal without tithing, I believe.
Yes.
That was the one I had in the very beginning that was probably my most... it was devastating, but before I was fully bankrupt, I believe you allowed me. I got a 10 and then you let me like flip it so I could go back to using Pokemon Centers, but I just couldn't use healing items. But I hated that thing. So
to use that, you have to pay 1,000 times how many badges you have to heal the Pokemon Center.
Yeah.
So for me, that is 8,000 credits every time I want to heal. Keep in mind, a Hyper Potion only costs like 800 credits.
Right.
So
you're burning a ton.
What I did was just buy 1,000,000 potions. I'm also pretty like cash rich at this point. It's the end of the game. I have more money than I know what to do with. So Hierophant, like, it seems like it's going to be a problem, but this late in the game, the healing items are so good and you have so much money that it's like not a big deal. The only problem was like running out of PP. And I had to go recharge my PP a couple of times. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. These rules, at the end of this game, these rules become a lot less intimidating.
Yeah.
Well, for me at least.
Because in the beginning, I got that at like the second gym and it was terrifying.
Yeah. What about you? You went on a journey in here.
Yeah. This is where, my life probably was saved in here, but it was dicey for a little bit. So I drew a 10 of swords.
Yes. That's the one where you contact me and I make up a rule for you or eliminate a rule for you.
Yes, and you chose to make up a rule. Do you want me to say what it is, or do you want to say?
I don't remember what it is.
It was the Forest Fire, which I thought was pretty clever as well. I think we've all had some pretty clever ideas for rules. Hint, hint, Pokemaniac Chris. You may discard any number of active major arcana cards, but you need to draw exponentially more cards for every discard, aka 1 discard equals 1 draw, 2 discards, 3 draws, 3 discards, 6 draws, etc.
Yeah.
So I got some bad
And you're
shit.
still dealing with the Chariot. So you've got a lot of major arcana cards, right?
I think I had 3. I could have had more. I think I had 3 at the time.
Okay.
I don't think I'd drawn one since probably that Hermit. I can't remember. Maybe I had...
I also recall giving you a special dispensation where I said that you can do it one at a time. You can draw one, and if you decide you want to keep going, you can draw another or discard another and draw 3 more.
Right, because I wanted to know whether I had to choose and just draw all of them immediately, so thankfully you let me do this. Although I was still more cautious than I could have been, but obviously, number 1, I had to discard the Hermit, because that was strangling all of my natures and making my team very strange.
Well, that must be a relief. Did you draw something good?
I got a 2 of swords. Easy.
Oh, that's ideal.
Yeah, that was ideal.
2 is you. You get to pick the Pokemon.
Yeah, I would later catch Seal in here.
Cute.
With that. So then, because I felt lucky, I was like, all right, well, let's get rid of this High Priestess, because that was the one where I could not use healing items, I believe. Right. So that's a nightmare. I can't go into the Elite Four with that shit. I got another two of Pentacles, but then I got the lucky. Temperance. So
you did it again?
Temperance is, because I had to draw 2 then.
Oh, right. You had to draw 2, right.
So
Temperance is no moves over 80 power?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, wait, this is already starting to circle back to being worse for me going into the Elite Four, so I stopped.
Yeah.
So at this point, now I have Temperance, and then I have 5, so I can only use guys, and I have the Moon.
I wasn't very explicit with this rule. I just said you can throw out any Major Arcana cards. Why didn't you throw out the Chariot?
I guess I can't really even say whether or not that crossed my mind, but if I was thinking about it now, I don't.
It's illegal.
I think it either would have been illegal because it doesn't exist on the board, or that's not worth it to me at this point.
Yeah, I guess we're headed.
Because then I would have to think like, what are the chances of me getting enough Major Arcana now that I'm going to actually?
Because we go through a million routes on the way up to.
Yeah.
On the way up to the Elite Four. Or Victory
I mean,
Road.
It's a good thought.
But whatever. You didn't do it.
I did get more Major Arcana coming up as well, but...
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
All right. So, but at least you got rid of the Hermit, which has been killing you for weeks.
I got rid of the Hermit and the High Priestess, which were both very bad.
Right.
So I've got the Temperance, so I can't use moves above 80, and then I've got 5 guys, so I can only use dudes, and then I have the Moon, and I can't look anything up.
Yeah.
Which I'm used to at this point.
Wow. What a name.
So, as I said, I got the Mantike, and now that I gotten this is where I made a call. I was like, I think it was late at night or something. I was like, I think I'm just going to have to draw rather than ask you about this. So, because I had that Mantike, and now I can use whatever I want, I went back to Himalaya City. And then I get the proper team. It's all dudes, but I get, like, Reuniclus back. Yeah. I bring back, like, Golduck, whatever, Magnezone. And so then I had to go back, Route 21, Seaside Cave.
I don't care that much.
I drew again, so.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that I was, like, not going to be called a Mayor Cheat again. So now I got Knight of Wands, which I made Cobalion.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Route 21. And then that's why I remember...
Any Pokemon you want to be immune to other cards, it's Cobalion.
Exactly. And that's why I remembered how many trainers were in Seaside Cave, because I ended up fighting enough in there that it was like made my champion before I got out.
Yep.
And then in Seaside Cave, I got Queen of Pentacles. I guess that's what I wrote here that I got Seal with. I think I got a fucking, what's the, not Gigalith, the middle one?
Boldor.
Yeah, Boldor. I think I got a Boldor. I honestly don't really remember at this point, but I caught one other thing.
It's not, at this point, like, this is...
It doesn't matter.
This is easily the most Pokemon I've caught in a game so far. Like, I've filled up, like, 2 boxes.
Yeah, we haven't had to catch this many Mon in a while.
So I've sort of lost track of some
of made it interesting.
The trash Mon in my box as well.
That was my Seaside Cave. So
what a journey.
It's gotten me ultimately in a better place than I was before Plasma Frigate.
Then we can fire up the old Colress machine and use it to chop up a... Not Dwebble. Crustle. And then we walk out.
Some nice crab legs for that protein for a big fight ahead.
Yum. It's a little gritty.
Yeah.
The Crustle crab legs.
It's pretty dirty.
Because it lives under a big slab of dirt.
But it's probably a little crunchy, yeah.
Are Crustles just Krabbies with dirt on them? It's worth exploring, huh?
Yeah, there's some similarities.
We pop out
big red crabs
of Seaside Cave, and waiting for us right there on the shore is... the Frigate, the Plasma Frigate. Yeah, actually, that's not totally true, right? I think Marlin either brings the Frigate or stops the Frigate from leaving when you're spotted. And he's had a change of heart. In a little cutscene, he's like, I've decided to help you because you're strong Pokemon trainers.
He had hopped on, and he's the one who, like, throws down the, like, plank, I think.
Yeah.
That allows us to actually get on it. Because Bad Josh, Hugh is here also.
Yeah, Bad Josh and Hugh and Mr. Wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Marlin.
Yeah.
He must know that acts of service is one of my love languages. You know, it's acts of services and receiving small gifts.
Yeah, and Slaanesh as well.
He's done both for me because he hand-delivered me a giant ship full of Team Plasma bad guys.
And that's really speaking your language.
That speaks my language. Head into the plasma frigate, and it is essentially just another, Team Bad Guy hangout.
Yep.
Just like the Team Rocket hangout underneath the Cerulean Casino and the other ones.
Oh, Celadon, yeah. Yeah, all of them. The Mahogany Town hideout.
I'm trying to remember.
Classics.
Did it have moving walkway puzzles? Now I can't remember. We played it too long ago.
Not this part.
This part.
When it comes back, this is not the end of the plasma frigate. Because we got that second part outside Giant Chasm, remember?
Right, yes.
That's where there is a puzzle also.
Yeah.
The teleporting, room stuff, I think.
Yeah. So this is... Wait, is that not now?
Is that now? I mean, I don't know. This thing is around the whole journey.
That's now.
Okay.
That's the part
I don't remember, to be honest. I
think this is the last time we see
the... No, we're not. Because it's outside Giant Chasm as well.
But do we go on it?
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. I don't remember. So we conferred off mic and determined that, yes, indeed, there are several different Team Plasma encounters along this way.
It's the main set piece of this whole leg.
Yes.
We do the bow of the ship now.
I drew an Empress. Which is the one that lets you catch the first Pokemon you see, and it's immune to rules, I think. Or no, you get to discard a rule, a major arcana. There weren't any catchable mons here, but I did clear the Hierophant.
Yeah.
Which I just picked up 2 routes earlier.
That is very lucky, very fortunate.
Yeah.
Not have to run with that shit for very long.
And then, what did you draw?
I got the Magician, which could be bad.
Special attacks?
Only use special attacks.
Yeah.
Most of my team at this point was special attacks. I just didn't use Flygon at all. And then Cobalion was immune because it was my knight.
Yeah. We do the bow of the ship, and we teleport across a few little rooms, and they're all full of Team Plasma Grunts, and you can talk to some of them, and they'll, add Reshiram and Zekrom to your Pokedex, and they'll show you a little picture of Reshiram and Zekrom for some reason.
Well, you need it as it's pretty obvious to full-grown men that it's Reshiram or Zekrom early on, but you need to see it in order to actually be able to use it as a password to get into wherever Zinzalin is,
Yep. And then Zinzalin, sure enough, is at the end of this area with a Team Plasma Grunt, and you and Hugh do a multi-battle with them and kick their asses. Kick their asses right to the curb. Let's see. Does Zinzalin? Yep, here's Zinzalin's team. Cryonicle, Weavile. He is not changing things up.
No.
He likes what he's got.
He's going down with the ship, so to speak.
Yeah. Something else I forgot to mention in the frigate was my You Make Me Barf Pokemon of the Week.
I was hoping you wouldn't forget that.
Let me see. Who is it here? Yeah, it's still Zinzalin's Cryonicles. They're still bad. Even worse. When I saw them last week, I was like, gross. But this week I saw them again. I was like, you got to get rid of these things, man. Why are you still battling with these things? It's bringing you down,
man. These Triagonals, what is this?
Just going to start avoiding you, Zinzalin. I don't want to see your Cryogonals anymore.
Yeah, and I was on the page earlier when I was making the show notes, and I saw that its shiny sprite has red
about its shiny sprite.
Moving Cylon eyes.
Ugh.
It's very scary.
I can't tell if that sounds cool or not.
I mean, it's cooler.
Let me look.
But I don't like it.
It is cooler, but it's still ugly. Still just butt ugly.
Its ability to trap prey in ice crystals may be a reference to the Hrimpursar, which is Nordic giants who were made of ice, and also have this ability, apparently.
Huh. Okay.
So, look at how scary it is, and it traps people with ice crystals, so it's pretty fucked up. I don't like this thing. It gets worse the more you think about it.
That's an easy fight. It's an easy leg, and then the Shadow Triad shows up, and they teleport you off of the ship. It's like, if you guys could just do that the whole time, just do that every time. You can teleport me? What is this, Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a cop-out that they could just do that.
Yeah.
And especially when it's like, well, I guess we should also say that we saw Jesus.
Oh, yeah, we do
Kyurem in here.
Kyurem, he's like
who is the source of the ship's
frigate.
power, and that's where all the ice beams and everything come from.
There's this kind of side plot that also is happening in the Team Plasma frigate, where I don't remember this from the beginning of the game, I'm not sure if they got into it or not, but Hugh is apparently, Bad Josh is apparently on this mission to get his little sister's purloin back.
Yeah. He really that turns it up
stole. Again. And he finds it. The Team Plasma Grunt, who's battling alongside Zinzalin, has the purloin, and it's evolved into a Liepard now.
Yeah.
And it's under some kind of thrall. It's like evil now. It's mean.
Well, it's been 5 years. That's why Zinzalin, I actually thought this was funny, that Zinzalin's like, who cares about some purloin? It was 5 years ago. Who even knows what that thing is now? It's probably evolved, doesn't know who you or your little sister is. And he's like, I don't care about your late grandpa or whatever. That was like the last Pokemon he caught. So you get this whole thing. And we're like, oh, right. Hugh is out here this whole time because he's just trying to get his little sister's purloin. Those things are a dime a dozen.
Well, you get it back after the battle. And at the end of the game, Hugh does bring it back to his little sister. And it started to warm up a little bit.
It's right. It's probably too high of a level for her to use, but...
So now we got to chase down that dang Frigate, which is on its way to Giant Chasm.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to loop our way back up. I just flew back up to Humalau City and then went through the little docks and past Route 21 and into Giant Chasm.
Yeah.
Did you revisit Route 21 or Route 22?
This is where this is when I did have to go back to it. So I guess this is when I get the 5. So that's confusing. That I said it earlier, but this is when I get my 5.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to lose track of all of this stuff, people.
Yeah, because I wrote up the notes in a different order. But anyway, this is when I did go back to Route 22, unlike earlier, because I already knew what was happening from going on it like 2 or 3 times last episode. So here's where I draw 5. And that sucked because I couldn't use Sawsbuck anymore, who I was really keen on bringing into the Elite Four.
Yeah.
That was another drawback.
I forgot to say something.
That's a common theme today.
Tonight, yeah. Let's go to break.
Oh, you got your whole new strategy now.
I didn't forget anything. I'm just trying out some new techniques, some new tactics.
You got me again.
Catch you off guard.
Clever.
Welcome back, bug catchers. Welcome back, Joshua.
Hello.
We are headed to the Giant Chasm.
That's
Before we get too far into it, we do have to draw a card.
Oh, yeah.
What did you draw?
The world, baby.
Oh, what a get. This late in the game, what a get.
Yeah, I think it's only my second one, though.
Yeah. Well,
this is the best thing that's ever happened to me in this whole season.
I'm just like trying to think of a possibility, all the possibilities in front of you, you know? Like, what can you do? You can just build the perfect team from all of those mon you have in your box.
I mean, other than, any other cards that I might get before then, but...
Sure.
This finally frees me from the moon. Then I get to drop the Magician, which could have been worse. It wasn't going to be that bad, but I was going to have to figure out, whether I would box Flygon or teach him some special attack that was not going to be good, but and then Temperance, so I'm free.
Wow.
I am out here, so I kept all these mon.
Yeah.
For now.
I had a very different journey through Giant Chasm, Josh.
Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't so lucky. What I did was I drew a Justice card.
Right.
And do you remember Justice? Shall I read it to
you?
I've
been there.
I'll read
Just
it to
remind
the bug catchers.
Yeah.
Catch one wild Pokemon of each species in this area, counting evolutions as the same species. As long as this card stays in play, you must use as many of the Pokemon as you can without breaking other rules.
Right. And are there a lot of mon out here?
In Giant Chasm?
Yeah.
Quite a few, Josh. There are quite a few Pokemon in Giant Chasm. Shall I go through them?
Yeah.
Here's what I caught. Available Pokemon in Giant Chasm. On the Route 13 entrance, we have Tangela, Pelipper, Clefairy, Lunatone, Solrock, Vanillish, Delibird.
Oh my God. Wait, you counted all of the areas too?
Well, yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Piloswine, Sneasel, Clefairy, Vanillish. I already said some of those. Excadrill.
You should do it like Poke-Rap style.
Basculin.
Sneasel, Clefairy, Vanillish, Lunatone.
Seal. Matang. Ditto. Mamoswine. No, I didn't have to catch a Mamoswine because I already caught a Piloswine. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. But anyway, it was like 20 Pokemon.
That sounds like a lot. Some good mon, though.
Hours. It took hours of catching to catch all of those Pokemon. But I did it. I did it because I honor the Justice card. It's funny, I don't remember you following up after our Chris episode and saying whether or not you went back to Desert Resort to catch all those Pokemon.
What?
Is Bobby calling you?
I think my Chinese food just got here. I gotta go.
Well, I caught every single thing, Joshua, and of course then had to build an entirely new team from scratch and start leveling all these stupid new Pokemon I got.
Well, they're pretty decent levels, at least, but...
Yeah. The only Pokemon I kept on my team was Jolteon at this point. The thing about Giant Chasm is...
Oh, because it's the champion, yeah.
It's there are all these little dust clouds, and the dust clouds usually have Pokemon in them, but oftentimes they also have items in them, including all of the evolutionary stones, including all of the, like...
Gems,
the type
one-time
gems.
power-ups, yeah.
Yeah. So I got a electric stone here, a lightning stone.
Oh, that's great.
and used it as right away on the Eevee to turn it into a Jolteon. So that was fortuitous, but the rest of it was sort of a slog, not gonna lie.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that's where I spent most of my time in Giant Chasm. There is a lot of plot points here too. A lot of plot details happen in Giant Chasm, in and around.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we are for most of this leg. As you could tell, Giant Chasm has like 3 different areas. Then there's also Plasma Frigate when we get to the bottom of it.
Yep, the Plasma Frigate is kind of waiting outside for us.
Yeah, and there's like a showdown between old Team Plasma and new Team Plasma.
Yeah,
with
so
like Rude and the old crew.
And the old crew face off against Zinzalin and the Shadow Triad and the new crew. I got so confused at this part, I could not figure out what I was supposed to do. I just like kept running around the crater forest, like trying to figure out where I go, and then I realized that you have to climb the mountain next to you.
It took me a minute too, all of it. Like
it's sort of hard to see the path. The path is like ice, so it just looks like mountainside. Yeah, and you have to
slide around, and if you don't align it properly, you won't see an outline of the ship. So it's like it's hard to tell where you're going.
Right. But yeah, you were climbing up the side of a little hill, which ends up being the Plasma Frigate.
Yeah, now you board the stern this time.
You board the stern. Did you draw a card for Plasma Frigate?
I
didn't. I'm realizing now I didn't because you sort of lose track in here because all of Giant Chasm is like they never give you another title card. Like all of this, all the caves, all the levels, the outer forest, it's all part of Giant Chasm. So we only had to draw one card for this whole section.
Which is why I'll give you a respete for catching all those mon in all those different areas too, because it is technically all inclusive. So
I know it was a huge nightmare.
Respete for that one, yeah.
Oh, and I just had to build this like ragtag team for the fucking Elite Four.
It's a nightmare.
So yeah, we head into the Team Plasma Frigate, and this is when things start to get pretty interesting. The Team Plasma Frigate is a complex set of puzzles. This is once again just spent like I would say an hour walking around that room where you pivot, you rotate the pipes.
That was the puzzle. Yeah, that's it.
Before I realized that I was supposed to be talking to guys and getting like parts of a code to open a door.
Yeah, we're again trying to get codes so that we can get rid of like a laser barrier.
Yeah.
And this time the puzzle is not warping. Oh, there's warping as well, actually.
There's warping after this.
And then there's this part, which is just moving pipes around by stepping on switches. And then they allow you to traverse 3 dimensions of this room
maze.
Where there are a bunch of grunts who give you info.
Yeah, and there's 4 guys you need to find, each of whom will give you one of the numbers of a code or, help you figure out the numbers of the code.
Yeah.
So then once you're through, you go into like the facility, like the power factory of the ship.
Yeah. It's like the engine and like the control room.
Yeah.
Because Kyurem is basically the engine that's powering this whole thing. And it's a weapons system.
By the way, Zinzalin, you also fight him again here now too. 2 cryogonals and a Weavile.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Just in case you were wondering.
It's nothing. Then after you toss him aside, that's when you get to see this control room.
Yeah, and Colress is in there. He reveals that he's the big bad guy. Or sorry, he joined Team Plasma at the request of an old friend.
Yeah.
To figure out how to draw the power.
Wonder who that could be. I feel like I kind of predicted this last episode. I knew that it was like he's like a puppeteer or puppet again. He's like the new N, you know?
Yeah.
Like everybody thinks this Colress guy is the leader of new Team Plasma, but that's not true, which we'll find out after we fight him.
He's got a lot of steel type Pokemon. Except one BEM.
That's what makes, and that's like what I was saying when I first encountered that thing, where like it seems like it should be steel and psychic. Like it's getting thrown in here with everyone else's steel.
Yeah.
Magneton, Metang, Utang?
Metang.
Magnezone, and Klinklang. You know, that's its cohort.
Ugh. Not a good looking group.
Steel aliens.
He like recognizes your strength and
he was basically just like he took the pay. He was like, oh yeah, I'll be evil, but then it's like, oh wait, we lost, and like I should be good to Pokemon, and you know, you're right. I'll just see you later. Maybe throw in another Colress machine for you, and then he gets out. But he's good again, or he just like I don't know. We always let criminals get away in the Pokemon world.
Yeah,
so he just walks away.
Yeah, he just walks away. He's decided he's gonna be good now.
Yeah, I think he's like, oh yeah, science is great, but maybe the bond between Pokemon and their trainers is even more powerful.
So then he leaves. You go into the next room, and of course it's Ghetsis. He's the main bad guy.
He's back, which we all figured.
Yeah, he's
in this big like
Colress.
This big control room that's got like Architect and Matrix vibes, where like it's just screen after screen, observing everything. With a cool new outfit on Ghetsis.
Yeah, he's got a cool new outfit. He's got this rad cane.
Yeah, it's like a sword cane.
Yeah, and he uses it to keep you from catching Kyurem. I don't know how it works what it does, but it in this part you go up to Ghetsis, we talk a little bit. He said he's going to use Kyurem to freeze the world, which he's already started to do. He summons Kyurem and commands it to attack you. N comes in, flying on top of Zekrom in my game.
And Reshiram in mine.
And he's become even more N. You know, he's like, he loves Pokemon. He just travels the world. Yeah, he's super woke.
He's freeing Pokemon.
Yep.
He knew Kyurem is in trouble.
But Ghetsis outsmarts him, and he uses the DNA splicer to
which
fuse.
we're not going to explain. But
no, we won't explain that.
No,
but
splices him.
He splices N's dragon with Kyurem.
Kyurem, yeah,
and turns him into, in my game, black Kyurem.
And white Kyurem in mine.
What an ugly Pokemon.
It's basically like, Reshiram or Zekrom with a bunch of like weird like wires and like different
pulsing. It's got like a big thorax, like an ant. Yeah, and it's like
really
pieced together
gross.
like Dracula. Mine had like a weird zombie arm for some reason. The black.
Yeah, I don't know where all these parts came from ultimately. It feels like it shouldn't look this fucked up.
Such an ugly design.
Kyurem was like a shell of a dragon, so I guess this is like embodying it, and it's gross.
I guess. You really want to catch this thing. You're battling it. It's not under Ghetsis' control. It's just fighting you like a wild Pokemon. Right. But Ghetsis has this stupid cane that does some kind of stupid Colress device kind of thing to keep you from catching Kyurem. Every time you try to throw a Pokeball at it, it's like, you can't. Ghetsis' device is stopping you. So you just have to fight it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hard. It's level 55.
Yeah.
And if you're just building up a new team that you had to catch from scratch, a route earlier, gets a little tricky.
Well, I didn't have that. And to me, Kyurem was kind of a joke. It killed my Flygon in one hit, but then I brought in Cobalion, who killed it in one hit with a
it's
sword.
Ice Dragon. So if you use a fighting move or a dragon, it's vulnerable to a lot of stuff. Being an Ice Dragon, right? It's vulnerable to dragon, fighting, rock, dragon. Steel.
Yeah, good job.
Thanks. I was reading it right off of Bulbapedia.
Yeah. So for me, it was nothing.
Yeah, I got through it, but it was kind of a pain. When you defeat him, he goes back into 2, and the Kyurem part of it just goes away.
Still can't catch it.
Getsis is pissed.
Yeah, he's like, that's the last straw. He's like, first that Joshua, and now this kid? Like, I'm not going to lose to some chump from, like, Buffalo again. You know?
Oh, is this because you loaded your...
Yeah, with that Unova link. So
cart?
he references Joshua here.
That's
and
cool.
He's pissed about
That's
losing
so much
to
fun.
some, like, backwater kid again.
I like that.
That was fun. I do really like that feature. It's pretty subtle, and how it gets referenced is nice.
Yeah, he's got a pretty weird mix of Pokemon. He's got a Configrius. Is that really what it's called? Configrius? Configrigus?
I wouldn't say it like that.
I wouldn't either.
What'd you call me?
It's just what an awkward thing to say.
Cafagrius? Cafagrigus? That's the only way to not get canceled. That Cafagrius is canceled.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Cafagrius anymore. In fact, we're gonna bleep it every time we said it, because this Pokemon happens to have a pretty nasty slur in its name.
Yeah,
it's really hard to avoid.
It is really hard to avoid now that you've pointed it out.
But anyway, he's got that ugly Pokemon that looks like a sarcophagus, and he's got a Seismitoad, an Eelektross, a Drapion, a Toxicroak, and a Hydreigon.
Yeah.
What a weird mix.
This was tough.
Yeah, this is a tricky battle.
I pulled it off. I don't remember specifically, I didn't write down anything that was like particularly troubling, but I remember that it was a struggle.
He's just kind of got a good mix, good mix of stuff in there. You can take on pretty much any team, or it's at least going to like peel off a couple of Pokemon. You don't want to come in here with an active 9, I'm guessing.
Right. That would not be good. I was definitely down for at least 3 or 4, if not like 5 Pokemon by the end of it. I don't remember. They were all around this level, like 50, 51.
Yeah.
So it was a even fight.
Then the Shadow Triad once again teleports Getsis away. He's finally defeated. Team Plasma is in ruins.
Like shaking and shitting himself, and they have to just shuffle him away.
Yeah, they keep talking about how stinky it is. It's a really long cutscene.
Yeah, that smells really bad in there.
And then Ann also just fucks off. He gets on the back of Reshiram and he's like, "My people need me. Goodbye," and like flies off screen.
Like, okay, I'm people, but okay.
And it's like, well, I guess I've defeated the bad guys of the game. All that's left is to go become the champion of the Unova region. Yeah. So that's where we're headed next.
I forgot. Oh, right. We have to do the Elite Four still.
There's the whole Elite Four still. Yeah. Route 23. There's a little route here between. Actually, it's quite a long route. There's a long route here between the crater and Victory Road. Which means we have to draw a card, doesn't it?
Yep.
So I drew an 8 of Pentacles, and I was devastated because it meant I had to box my Jolteon. Except my Jolteon was immune because it's still my champion.
That knighting really paid off.
Other than the Jolteon, everything on my team was new. So it was like I caught everything on Giant Chasm.
So I think you could just choose.
I just made a call and boxed Lunatone because I was training up a Lunatone against my better judgment.
Live with yourself.
Because I needed a psychic type.
Yeah. I mean, I know.
It was technically the first one I caught on Route 23, so I just went and threw it in the box and pulled out.
R.I.P.
I can't believe I'm about to say this. I pulled out Soul Rock.
What?
Very briefly. Before I realized that Matang was psychic metal.
Oh, right.
Just use him as my
yeah. You didn't even need another psychic.
Yeah. So yeah, I put Lunatone in the box. We had a brief kind of fun flirtation there. He's got some kind of weird moves, Lunatone. Lots of sleep focused stuff.
Yeah, it's got
which is
some
pretty fun
stuff.
Pretty annoying. I don't know. I would have been interested to see if it shaped up into being a fun little Pokemon to play with, but I had other things to worry about, Josh. I had to go fight the Elite Four. What about you? What did you draw on Route 23?
I got a 7 of Pentacles, so then I was terrified again because that's where you had to draw 2 more.
Yep.
One was fine and the other was bad.
What was the bad one first?
Theme of Kingslocke.
No, what was the fine one first?
3 of ones.
3 is me. You just had to catch the first Pokemon you saw.
It was a throw. which was a throwaway.
Yeah.
One would hope.
I'm glad I caught the justice, or picked up the justice on Giant Chasm and not here, because there are some yucky little Pokemon on this route.
Yeah, you got a really good mix in Giant Chasm. There's not a good mix here.
No, it's
about 30 throws.
Socks and throws and Mienfoos. So there's a lot of those kind of...
That was the one I wished I'd got, at least.
Fighting types.
Whatever.
There's also a Bouffalant and Vullaby, which is kind of cool. Or Vullaby in my game, Rufflet in yours.
Rufflet for me.
But you already have your sweet bird.
Braviary way back in the day.
Yeah, I don't want any of these Pokemon. I'm glad I didn't catch it.
So the other card that I got, though, was an 8.
Oh, you got an 8 too.
And here's where Golduck goes into the box again.
Golduck's not even going to be on the team for the Elite Four.
No, after all this, I think it made it to level 50.
What happened to Superior in all of this?
Well, I gave up on that fucking thing. Well, I got the Sawsbuck.
Oh, right. You love that Sawsbuck.
And that Sawsbuck is back at this point.
Yeah.
Because I'm clear with the world.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm not going to bring Superior back because I like the Sawsbuck a lot more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is the first game in a while where I am not going to be running
my
starter at all.
Yeah.
And haven't since it was level 40. Haven't seen it in a while. I tried desperately. That thing was cursed, though. It was just always in the box. So, along with Golduck. So Golduck's out.
Well, good riddance, Golduck. What a strange journey you went on in this game. Spent as much time in the box as out of it.
Yeah. Still managed to get it up to level 50.
It's pretty good. Route 23 is behind us.
Like, its nature was so bad. I think it was impish, I think, too. Yeah, that's it. So its special attack was bad. And, like, its main attack is special. So it was like, I don't think this thing's not very good anyway. So
yeah. Victory Road. We've made it, Josh.
Yes.
To the end of the game. Victory Road is as long confusing and brutal as always.
Yeah, I read on Bulbapedia, and I feel like I did get all of them. There are 25 trainers in here. This has to be the biggest one. The most robust.
A ton of trainers. There are a ton of Pokemon. There are a ton of catchable routes. You need Flash at one point. You need Strength.
Waterfall is useful.
Waterfall is useful. Cut. There's a couple of trees in here that need cutting. So this is quite a journey through this section as well.
It's got multiple areas. River Valley, I'm seeing. Mountainside. Caves. You're bebopping and scotting all over this fucking thing.
Accurate. And before we bebopped and scotted too much, though, we did have to draw cards.
Yes.
And this is finally where I lucked out. Because I drew an Emperor, which means you can catch any Pokemon you want, and they have the same champion clause as
a knight. It's just auto knight.
A knight.
Is that right?
Yep. So I went hunting, and I caught a Zweilous.
Oh, Zweilous.
Zweilous.
It's German.
It is German. It means... Well, Zwei means two, and it's got two heads. Get it?
Yeah. And you know what? Else? It's German
Hydreigon. What?
Joshy Sweetie. Savailus.
Is it? That's German for Joshy Sweetie?
Yeah.
Because I took like 6 years of German.
Oh.
In high school and college.
No, I didn't hear that. It is
good pick. What a little emo dragon boy.
Yeah,
with
it's
his little
so
bangs
sweet.
in his face.
Human version of this, I would have had a crush on. You know,
2 heads.
I mean,
some emo boy with 2 heads.
Maybe not 2 heads. When you put it that way, I don't know. I mean, I'm open to it.
Yeah. You're an open-minded guy.
Yeah. But I really like. I mean, I like this whole line, and it starts getting scary after this when it goes to Hydreigon. But Zweilous is cool.
That is a great pick. That is who cool. I caught with my Emperor. I was very excited to catch one. Became a feature of the final team. So love this thing.
That's a good one.
Love this thing. What did you draw?
That's got to be your best one. Page of Wands.
Weird. I literally also drew a Page of Wands on the next route.
That's insane.
I guess that's not that weird, but it's weird that there's
a number of them
too.
Yeah, I feel like that hasn't really happened.
No.
At least not in a while. Yeah, same suit.
Yeah.
Your timing is better, though, because you get some sweet TMs in Victory Road. I could only use things prior to it, so I got in a couple of good ones. Like, I remember... Oh, so I bumped Seal up from the minor leagues because I needed a surfing waterfall Pokemon.
Right.
Now that Golduck's boxed. And I taught Seal Ice Beam. That was good, because we have Ice Beam at this point. But I don't remember... I mean, there was nothing that bad or good. I also made a bunch of changes after this when we get to the Pokemon League, and then I flew to, like, Pokemon World Tournament, where you can cash in shards to do some...
retraining
replacements. So I didn't write down what I did here. There was nothing that great. I remember Ice Beam. I was pretty proud of that, but yeah. It's very fortunate that we did get that before we had to go in there, though.
There aren't that many TMs in Victory Road. I did pick up a Wild Charge, which is kind of a fun move, but that
was what I was upset about, because I wanted to teach that to Sawsbuck once I got it, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
I have a Trainer Banger and Trainer Danger for the same 2 trainers.
Okay, double battle?
Yeah, Veterans Claude and Cecile. Did you encounter these? I think they're
so.
by Wild Charge, actually.
Yeah, I battled every dude there was.
Yeah, they're in this obscure area where you have to, like, go down a waterfall and then surf for a while, go around a turn, go into a cave, find a dead end, go a different way, and then end up, like, on this one little area. And it's Veterans Claude and Cecile, and I think it's Wild Charge is there. So there's good reason to go here, and I just wanted to call them out because they were very good.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think the veteran sprite is cool and sexy.
The male?
Both.
The male looks like a pervert. He's like wearing a trench coat.
I think it looks cool.
Okay,
Not in a
you're
pervert
into perverts.
way.
You're into two-headed emo perverts, is what we've learned this week.
Veteran Claude, Veteran Cecile, Braviary and Caracosta, and then Mandibuzz and Archeops.
Archeops, right.
And they're all level 55. They were good. This was a challenging battle.
Yeah, that was a big one.
They give you $8,800, and I don't know. I think they look cool. You don't think the veteran male looks cool? The female,
no, he looks like a pervert. He's even got his hand in his pocket. Like,
just because he has a trench coat?
And he's clearly jerking off underneath that coat. He's got his hand in his pocket.
I think he's probably just he's just fondling a Pokeball.
Yeah, right, Josh.
Okay, well, whatever. They are Trainer Danger and also Banger. So
yeah,
he's the Danger and Cecile's the Banger. They were good, and I was surprised. And that's
Pokemon League. Not a lot to do here. You just walk in. There's these like gates that light up as you're going through with all the badges, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, a little light show.
And you go in, and there's exactly what you'd expect. There's the same like little plinth in the middle of a coliseum, and there's 4 staircases going up to each of the 4 Elite Four. There's a Pokemon Center and a Pokemart here with all the good stuff. So you just stock up. You head in.
Yeah.
First you draw a card. I drew the page. I already talked about it. It wasn't anything exciting. I just gave some Pokemon like moves that they could get some use out of, or replace some old moves that I wasn't super happy with. So I managed to just kind of get moves on people. Nothing very exciting or notable. What did you draw?
Yeah, I got Empress.
Ooh.
So I just, for history's sake, purified Golduck. But
did you undo a rule too?
I didn't have any.
Oh, right.
I'm footloose and fancy free at this point.
So, Josh, all that's left is to take on the Elite Four.
Yes.
Do we want to talk about the teams we went in there with?
Oh, yeah, we should. Let's
do level check.
Level check.
Do you want me to go first?
Doing it this week.
Or do you want to go first?
Oh, you can go first.
All right. Let me tell you about the team that I caught back in Giant Chasm. Zweihander. Oh, I also, at this point, it was like 2 a.m, and I was just trying to get through this leg. So I stopped looking up actual Chaos Lord names, and I just started making them up.
Okay, yeah,
when I was catching Pokemon in Giant Chasm. So Zweihander is my Hydreigon, level 65. Blade Ward is my Metagross, level 60.
Couple of power hitters already.
Yep. Peterson is my Jolteon, level 58.
Also one of my favorites.
Shadowbane is my Weavile.
Good name.
Level 59. Rotter is my Tangrowth.
Tangrowth. Good.
Level 59. I wanted a grass type, and I wanted something with some sleep moves.
I found that grass type was extremely not useful.
No, not in this Elite Four. Yeah.
My Sawsbuck was dead more often than alive.
Yeah. Not a lot of use for grass types here. Furion, Arcanine, level 60. Furion's the one who replaced Lunatone eventually.
That was a good choice. Yeah. That's a good team. Like, that worked out.
I mean, Tangrowth I'm not super happy with.
Yeah, I guess not.
I just didn't know what else to do. I didn't want any of the other Pokemon that I had caught in Giant Chasm. And you know me. I love a Tangela. I love a Tangrowth.
Oh, I know.
How about what about you? What does Mr. Wright have?
Mr. Wright's divine lineup of monarchs starts with Harold the First King of Norway, Dugong, level 60.
Nice. I love that. I love that you have a Dugong on your team. I love that you named it after a Norwegian king.
Right?
And I love that you got it up to level 60.
I had to power level it, I think, from level 26.
That's so the seal you caught in Seaside
That was
Cave?
my fucking, power leveling situation.
Yeah.
But then it ended up being very good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Griffith, the Flygon, level 60.
Good.
None of them were this level going in, I guess. They were all, I think I texted you, they were all level 58, I think, when I went in.
Yeah. You won the battle of the Flygons. We were both rocking Flygons most of the game, but right at the last second I had to
You did
box mine.
Correctly presume that I was going to try to keep it until the very end, so.
Yeah.
And I did manage to. I also kept Hadrian, the Chandelure, level 60, which was great in the Elite Four. Elizabeth the First, Sawsbuck, level 58. Did not gain any levels because it was usually dying, unfortunately. And then we have Elagabellus.
Cobalion.
So that one is a hat tip to Pokemaniacal Chris because Cobalion is genderless, and I wanted to at least pay tribute to even if now in retrospect, gender non-conforming monarch, and Elagabalus.
What a name.
It really, it looks cool, but it's a little harder to say.
Mouthful.
Yeah. Roman emperor from 80 to 218 to 222. Gayest Roman of all time, Chris says, so I like that.
Wow. I think the Romans were pretty gay.
Yeah. Gayest of them all. And we got really Hadrian on this team, too, so,
Yeah.
Wink, wink. Of course, ancient sources on him are full of slander and homophobia, so it's hard to know what's true, but it's claimed he offered a large reward for any doctor who could perform what we would today call bottom surgery.
Huh.
And some people assert that they would have been a trans woman today and use she, her pronouns for him.
Very interesting.
So, thought that was a good one.
Cobalion uses she, her pronouns, though.
No, I would probably just keep it going they for Cobalion, but
yeah.
Then we have Charles II Reuniclus, which I can finally say level 60. You don't like that thing, do you?
I know, I do. I actually do kind of like it. I just think it's such a strange Pokemon to bring to the Elite Four. Is it good?
Its special attack is nuts.
Is it?
It's kind of it's got decent special defense. It's weak physically, but...
Well, it's a baby in a blob of slime.
It's ended up being good. It was a struggle to get it here, but I ultimately have enjoyed my little bubble boy.
What a weird thing to get.
I would not ever... I don't think I would ever use it again. But under these circumstances, I have to have a psychic. I don't think I had any other options, by the way.
Yeah.
Now that
your hands were tied a little bit.
Did I have?
Same reason I'm running a Metagross.
Yeah, I mean, none of basically, I never considered about half these Mon. I mean, I wouldn't be using a Cobalion just because I don't usually use legendaries.
Legendaries, right.
Kind of fun when you can.
It is kind of fun. Let me tell you about my struggles with the Elite Four, Josh.
Oh, I think I had more, but...
I texted you about this because it was the night before we were supposed to record, and I just couldn't... No, it was the day we were recording.
Yeah.
And I couldn't beat the Elite Four. I just couldn't do it. Every time I went in there, I died. And I would die to someone different each time. It was mostly what's his face, Grimsley. What a dink that dude is.
Grimsley was a joke for me.
He just kept killing me. And then so did what's his face? Marshall.
Marshall was good
Marshall was
this
a
time.
huge joke last time, and
we
he kept
talked so
killing
much
me.
shit. I basically cruised through Chantal and Grimsley. Chandelure one-hit KO'd every single one of Chantal's Pokemon before they could even do an attack.
Yeah.
And then Cobalion did suffer a fake out from Liepard with Grimsley, but I was using Swords Dance, and then I one-hit KO'd all of them also. So both of them, I go in and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake.
Yeah.
But Caitlyn took a couple out, and because of her Masharna's Yawn, and then it has they all have Shadow Ball, so my Reuniclus and Chandelure couldn't just kill everything because they would get killed. Like they took out a couple,
right.
But then I had to bring in Dugong for Sigilif for Ice Beam, and then my Chandelure did take out her Reuniclus and got the tail. But then Marshall, what happened to you with Marshall?
I just struggled. He's the fighting type guy.
Who's usually the biggest joke of the Elite Four.
But he's got better Pokemon this game.
They had more diverse move sets. Like Mian Chao has U-turn.
Let me go to his page here and tell you the one move that just kept kicking my ass.
Yeah, my issue was also that
fucking high. There's Mayan Shao's high jump kick.
Yeah,
just devastating. And his Conkeldurr's, well, I think just Conkeldurr has Stone Edge.
And
Stone Edge
Arm.
also just destroyed me. God, it was so difficult.
Yeah, the rock
it was that
moves
Mayan Shao
were tough, and this is where I thought I could use Sazba because it was fast and I could get in jump kicks, but it got killed. Cobalion took out a couple of them, but then it got killed because I think it was somebody uses Bulldoze or fighting moves are super effective against it also. So all of my counters other than Reuniclus were countered by him also, but I did bring in Reuniclus. I just was trying to avoid it because I didn't want to take all of the attack EVs.
Yeah.
That just did psychic, and then it was done.
I kept whiting out. I think I waited out 3 times. And then eventually I just had to go back out to Route 23 and Victory Road and just train up.
Oh, I thought I lost more than you. I only lost once.
No, I lost a bunch.
But technically, because I drew again. You were supposed to draw every time you fight the Elite Four.
I know. At this point, we were going to record in an hour. I had given up on the 4, that stab attack thing. I was like, I'm just not going to do that.
That's that's just torture.
Because I had been doing that this entire time, through Route 23 and through Victory Road.
God, I forgot
all that
you
kind of shit.
That. Yeah.
So I gave up on that and didn't draw any cards. It was just too frustrated. I eventually just had to go out to Victory Road and train Hydreigon up to 64.
That was the move, yeah.
And Metagross up to 59 or 60. And that's eventually what got me through the Elite Four. There is the Champion too, Joshua, once we beat the Elite Four. I'll quickly say about the Elite Four too, though. Their gyms are worse, I think, this gen.
Oh, I don't know that I distinctly thought that. I was distinctly impressed by the lead up to their little zone. Where they live.
Yeah.
Because it's Chantal's got Will-O-Wisp that line the stairway, and then they light it up, and then they disappear and kind of move around when you're up in her library, and then Grimsley's got giant metal claws that open up.
Yeah,
to get
his
to
Hellraiser
battlefield.
Is pretty scary. But I remember their rooms in the last game just being so interesting and complex, and these ones are just staircases. They're cool staircases, but they're just staircases that go up to the platform where the guy is.
Yeah, and Caitlyn's wasn't as good. I remember that because she had the big bed last time, and now it's a flower. It's got cool animations leading into it. I think that's an upgrade, but I feel like they're either exactly the same or a slight downgrade for the lair.
Yeah.
Marshall's cage was worse. The fighting arena. The champions though felt pretty robust.
So the champion in this game is Iris.
Yeah.
From
formerly
Opelucid City.
Yeah. Drayden's
like,
fake pseudo granddaughter,
like kink daughter.
Yeah.
Getting me involved in their kink play, which, like, fine. You know, I'm not here to yuck yums.
No, we don't yuck yums.
No, we're sex positive here.
That's right.
Iris is very hard.
She's at the top of about 1,000 stairs.
Yep.
And she's got a cool plaza that's like moonlit with like a big dragon statue. And she has a bunch of dragons or dragon-esque mon.
Yeah.
Hydreigon, Drudigan,
dragon adjacent.
Agron, Archeops, Lapras, Haxorus. And here's where I ran into trouble.
Yeah, pretty difficult battle, huh?
Yeah. I actually was doing okay the first time. Dugong had gotten to take out Hydreigon and a fair amount of Drudigan, but then it died. Flygon killed Drudigan. Cobalion deals with Agron, and then Lapras also. I swap in Flygon to try to hopefully one-hit KO Haxorus, because I knew that was going to be the fucking problem.
Yeah.
I nearly kill it with a Dragon Claw, but then it gets in just one Dragon Dance. And then it one-hit KOs Flygon with a dual chop. Reuniclus comes out, and I manage to kill it with a Psychic because its X Scissor missed. And then I resurrected Dugong for Archeops because I was hoping that maybe I could get like an Ice Beam off and like maybe one-hit kill it. But Archeops killed both of them, and I whited out.
How is Archeops? Archeops also gave me trouble. How is that the hardest Pokemon on her team?
I mean, you remember, man, Archeops fucking sick. Its Rock Slide was my problem.
Yeah,
and then
Rock
just
Slide
Acrobatics,
is
and it's doing the strategy I did last season where it's holding no item. So Acrobatics is 120.
Like, yeah. So I breezed through. I didn't breeze through. She was very difficult. But Hydreigon and Metagross and Jolteon. I mean, honestly, like Weavile's ice moves were great against the flying types. Like, obviously the electrics were great against the flying types. The dragon was great against the dragons. So was the ice. So
yeah,
her team was challenging, but I also look at my levels. Her highest level Pokemon is Haxorus, which is level 59, which is like one of the lowest levels on my team.
So you managed to out-level her and outgun her.
Yeah. I just had to. I still didn't quite know like the synergy of this new team I was working with. So
yeah.
You defeat Iris, you insert your name and your team into the Hall of Fame, and you unlock challenge mode.
Yeah.
So we can go back and play it on the New Game Plus with a harder difficulty. And that's it.
Someday, maybe.
Credits roll. Wake up at home, and we will get into the end game journey and chase some waterfalls next week.
Indeed.
Joshua, it is the final gym. It's the Elite Four. It's our final teams. I know we've been going a while, but we have to battle.
I know. They're already plugged in. They've been sitting there for 4 days.
They've been waiting for us. So, bug catchers, we're going to battle one last time for the season with these weird, wild new teams and see what happens. Last week, I pretty handily crushed Josh with his 4-man Pokemon team, but I really don't know what's going to happen here.
I think I got a real team here. There are swaps that I would make in an ideal world, but I actually am pretty happy with most of it. I hope that Sawsbuck will be more useful in a competitive play than against the Elite Four. But
I think my team is pretty good too, though.
Yeah.
And I've got you on levels, so you're just going to have to use your talent and skills to beat me.
I mean, they did all level up more because I did have to do that second round where I used Flygon a lot more to make sure that it was high enough of a level that I thought it could kill Iris's Haxorus. So they're leveled up. And I'll just for continuity's sake, I drew a King of Cups because I did draw on my second battle. Just so we wrap up the Kingslocke. Yeah. I only ended up getting 3 out of 4.
Oh, you never even got the...
No. That was my nightmare. That was part of the reason I was glad that we're not going to do Kingslocke for the rest of this, because I was like, if I had to build a new team and I'm already done with the Elite Four, it's curtains. Yeah. That's not happening.
All right, let's get into Pokemon Showdown and mash our boys together. Bug catchers will be back in a moment to let you know who the victor is.
All right, let's fight.
Woo! Joshua.
Yeah.
Crushed you.
Not a good season for me.
You like the little spine erect that you are.
Yeah, well, you did Mayor sleep all the time.
Yeah, I did have to Mayor sleep you a couple times. But you know what? It's not forbidden.
No.
It's looked down upon.
What has that been to stop you?
But when we all look back at this, when Experience Share, a Pokemon podcast, is entered into the National Archive at the Library of Congress, and we're all sort of like at the ceremony, at the parade, thinking back on all the good times we had.
Walking past the banners.
People are going to remember that
Affinity check Pokemon.
I mean, the guy who runs for Affinity is going to be the keynote speaker at the ceremony. But we're going to look back on this season, and all we're going to remember is that Tanner was victorious in almost all the battles. We're not going to worry about how. We're not going to worry about the why. We're just going to worry about the what, you know? So we had to use a few Mayor Sleep moves. Who cares?
Only the guy who loses to him.
Well, call the Hague.
Maybe I will.
Come lock me up then.
Lock him up.
Yeah.
It was overall good battle.
I didn't crush you either. I only have 2 Pokemon left, and they're both in dire straits.
Yeah, it was still pretty close. I started off pretty poorly, but I got a couple of good moves where, like, Sawsbuck murdered your Arcanine. One hit KO with double edge before it could even do anything to me, because it would have killed Sawsbuck for sure.
Absolutely. And your Reuniclus used some move on my Weavile to kill it in one hit, too.
Oh, I had Signal Beam,
which was surprising.
Because I sent out Reuniclus to fight your Tangrowth, and I didn't think you would know that I had Signal Beam, which you didn't. But you swapped because it would have been super effective on Tangrowth, but then you did swap in Weavile, but then it was still super effective on Weavile. So that was one of my better
Which is surprising.
Because Bug and Dark. So
I was expecting, I was expecting to bring my Dark in and just chew you up.
But your Zweihander was a big problem, as I expected. That took out
my Zweihander was
3 of them till I could finally get a handle on it with Cobalion.
Also, the first time my Zweihander went out and used, what did he use on you?
Dragon Rush. Yeah, it was right when I swapped in Flygon, which was so stupid. And you just
Plus, I had the Dragon Gem on him. So it was already doing 1.5x damage. So it did 150. It had 150 power.
Yeah, that was rough. That hurt.
So there was no way you were getting out of that one. But good battle, good season. Yeah. Everyone, we'll come back next week for Chasing Waterfalls. We are going to give up the Kingslocke for next week just to make things.
We're just going to lollygag and we'll check off most of the things.
We'll fuck around and find out.
And then we should say what we're going to do, shouldn't we?
Yeah, please do.
We are going to take an interstitial break, and we're going to do Pokemon Conquest.
We're doing the Nintendo DS game Pokemon Conquest.
A Fire Emblem Advance Wars-esque game that I love, and I have referenced it several times on this show, and so we had to. We had to do it.
Yep. So go pick up those carts. This has been Experience Share. It's a Pokemon podcast starring me, Tandalore, and my co-host, Josh Arna. Please do rate and review the show everywhere that you rate and review podcasts. And leave us a good review on Apple Podcasts, because it helps, especially as we're kind of finishing up a season. And do continue to share the clips on social media. We're still doing the audiogram every week. We usually try to isolate something pretty funny and stand alone. So if you know someone who likes Pokemon or know someone who likes podcasts, go ahead and send them one of those things. Maybe we'll turn them onto the show. But first, you're gonna have to follow us at EXPSharePod on Twitter and Instagram.
And you can also check us out and engage with the community on reddit.com/r/bugcatchers, where soon enough we will have crowned the new Trainer of the Week winner for the season, who will then get to battle us, and we will recount that in a later episode. And you can also buy some merch at expsharemerch.com, and we are bouncing around some merch ideas, so we're hopeful we can get some new merch up in time for the new season. So we'll let you know about that, too.
That's the plan. Joshua, Bugcatchers! Goodbye.
Smell you later. Or should I try to do it in an English accent? Smell you later, mate. No, that's why I don't do that.